Guess what? I am back, once again, taking on the surmountable task of trying to catalog every single supervillain in existence. It's gonna be difficult, but let's begin. The first one we are discussing is one who has been fairly inconsistent in his criminal career. Stephen Mogwai started as a fairly normal man until he injected himself with a strange formula he found in the middle of Chinatown, one that the guy who sold it to him warned him not to take. He took it anyway, and it transformed him into a weird hybrid alien creature. It made his skin furry and gave him additional strength and speed. So really not that much change other than going a really cool mohawk. It was because of this titular mohawk that he donned the name the Striped Gremlin, to which he would do fairly minor crimes such as burglary and slight graffiti. But overall, he was not that much of a threat. Until recently. See, something strange happened in the alien DNA that he took. Look, apparently, this species of alien went through a strange metamorphosis if they ingested food after midnight. Now, I'm sure you're asking, how does that even work? And I honestly don't know how this works, to be completely honest. Like, for example, what about time zones? Do these aliens' biology somehow care about the local time zones of a place? What if they're on a different planet that has a different orbital system with their sun? And when can they eat again if they can't eat after midnight? Like, since it's always after midnight, even if it's like 11 o'clock, it's still after midnight of the last night. It's very weird, but anyway. Somehow, this transformed him once again. All of the fur from the last transformation were replaced with a scaly skin. The only thing that remained of the last form was the pointy ears and, of course, the titular mohawk. This greatly increased his strength and speed, but, most concerningly, it gave him the ability to clone himself. Every time he came in contact with water, of all things, he would multiply, eventually amassing an army of clones to go really do whatever he wanted. He hasn't attacked since last Christmas, and honestly we don't know where he is at the moment. But we do have one possible weakness of his if he ever decides to come back. Heck, I personally have done more research on this strange alien species and found that sunlight is a key weakness of theirs. If they come in contact with the UV radiation, they begin to bubble and melt away. Obviously, then, this could possibly translate to the Striped Gremlin, and possibly find a way to end him once and for all. Okay, I will admit, this next one was a little bit on me, but it wasn't my fault. You see, before I got into the whole superhero business, I actually was an astronaut for a long period of time, and during one of my missions, delivering supplies to another one of our space research facilities, we happened to have an intruder on the ship. You see, we had been getting reports of several murders happening in the area, here, around the space colony. But when we got there, we didn't see anything, and therefore didn't believe the accounts. However, then people on our ships started dying. we immediately suspected each other of the thing, because, as far as we knew, there was no intruders upon the ship. However, later we learned that it was indeed a shape-shifting alien, simply known as the imposter. The imposter could really look like anyone, but their main primary use of weapon is the basic knife, as well as their mouth, stomach things. It's very weird. But anyway, we may have voted some innocent people out, and I may have voted one out myself. But to be fair, there was a task, and this guy in a green astronaut suit just stood there doing nothing the entire time. He wasn't even moving, just standing there. I should mention during this thing that the ship was rapidly breaking down the entire time, so really the ship was falling apart, and we had to go fix that. And Green was literally just standing there with no issue whatsoever, just mind-boggling. So, of course, I accused him, and we ejected him into space. And turns out he was completely innocent, so, I have to live with that now. But eventually, we were able to find the correct alien, and, vote him off. However, these aliens are very durable, and can survive without oxygen, including in the middle of space. This one managed to float down to Earth and started wreaking havoc there. Now we still don't know where this alien is or what even it looks like, but we do know it's out there and likely murdering people. I'm likely going to have to deal with that one as well, but I'm kind of busy at the moment doing this task, and yeah. The next case we found was a bit strange compared to the rest, as the man isn't exactly one supervillain. Originally, we had reports of a man in a black suit resembling an old painting attacking people, but the strangeness came from the fact that multiple attacks were happening simultaneously, as in one attack would be happening in one place, and the rest would be happening somewhere on the other side of the Earth at the same time. Originally, this led us to believe that he could either multiply himself, similar to the striped gremlin, or that he could teleport. However, we found that, instead of all that, it was just one group of people in the same costume, committing attacks all across the globe, making people think they had superpowers, while in actuality, it was just multiple people. We still don't know how many people are taking up the identity of the Screaming Ghost, or how many people we still have to catch. The one man we managed to interview, a man named Stu, said there was as many Screaming Ghosts as there were sequels to the video. This made no sense whatsoever. Our last case for today is possibly the darkest that we have covered. It starts with a serial killer named Charles Lee Ray, who was fairly generic, as he had no superpowers, but still somehow managed to avoid capture, until one day where he was shot to death outside of a government facility. However, this government facility happened to be working on their own secret project, one that may have saved the killer's life. And more than that. See, as superheroes had been getting more commonplace, people began distrusting them, which I, as a superhero myself, find extremely offensive, but either way. They thought that if they left everything to these superheroes, they would become weaker in the process, less reliant upon themselves. So, they decided to build their own superhero. They called him the ultimate good guy, and, it had all the basic superhero stuff. It could fly, shoot lasers, have super strength and durability. It had one weak spot, which was if you managed to tore out its engine, which was inside of its chest, resembling somewhat of a heart. Basically, they created a robot that would try to be superior to every superhero ever. However, it was on this fateful night where the robot was going to be tested for the first time. It appears that Charles Lee Ray was also a bit of a I don't even know what they're called, code hacker thing? I don't even know what they're called. Either way, he was really good at coding. And he managed to program his consciousness into a computer hard drive that he then placed into a robot. Basically, he was able to make the robot a new vessel for his body. So when they booted up the robot, instead of it being the ultimate good guy, it was just more Charles Lee Ray, back for more revenge. It killed everyone in the facility, and then moved on from there. Eventually, it was stopped, but it's always been seen to come back. I mean, to be fair, when the person you're fighting is literally just a computer chip AI thing, it is a bit hard to actually stop him for good, since, as far as we know, he's already uploaded himself to the cloud. But more recently, a disturbing trend has been shown. We have been seeing multiple of these robots pop up, looking differently from the last. It's possible he might be building an army.